guys, welcome to the channel. Today's video we'll be reviewing the brand new SSR character Novick in Tower of God New World. But before I get started on the video, make sure you guys comment, like, and subscribe, and also turn on that post notification bell so that you guys can always stay tuned as to when I post new videos. I really appreciate it. And if you guys are new here on the channel, I have a brand new Discord server, so if you guys have any questions regarding games such as Reverse 1999 and Tower of God New World, you can join the server by going to my channel description. You'll see the server link there, and I'll also post a server link in the comment section down below. But anyways, let's not waste any time. Let's hop right into the video. So yesterday's video, the incident that occurred yesterday, I'm not even going to go into too much detail because I feel like if I talk about that again, I'm going to be really pissed off. But all I gotta say is that we had a terrible summon session, and I'm just gonna leave it at that. But we were able to acquire Novick. Now Novick, I've been using him ever since yesterday. After our, that summon session video, I had to cool off, and then once I cooled off, then I went to, I came in, so I started, upgrading him, and I started grinding, and I was able to get S-grade equipment on him. Now for his exclusive equipment, I can't bring it up to level 2 right now because I'm lacking exclusive equipment, so I'm stuck in level 1. So I'm not gonna really, I can't really say 100% whether or not he's good because I haven't fully, I haven't seen his kit. Not haven't seen his kit, but I haven't tested his true potential yet. So for now, we're stuck at level 1, but I'll say the biggest part about his exclusive equipment is the level 4. You guys are going to see why. But before we get started on this, analysis and review, let's go ahead and read his skill. So for his passive, every time an enemy is hit by Novick's active skill, a Crimson Soul is added to the stack, increasing his physical resistance by 15% per Crimson Soul in the stack, max 4. So you get max 4 stacks, which means you get around, I think you get around like 60% physical resistance, max stacks. When Novick activates his special move, he uses up all the stacked Crimson Souls to increase the duration of his Crimson Soul Fist Seal Zone by 1 second per stack Crimson Soul. So Crimson Soul is like a huge part of his kit because Crimson Soul pairs up perfectly well with his special move, which is the Fist Seal Zone. So his passive is basically physical resistance, and the more stacks you get on that Crimson Soul, the more you'll be able to increase the duration of his special skill, which is the zone. And then we move on to his second active, not second but first active. Novick throws 2 needles containing Crimson Souls at the enemy with the highest attack, dealing 620% of his attack as damage to all enemies in the path and silencing them for 5 seconds. So this silence is absolutely huge because you can literally silence the enemy special skill. They can't use their attacks, which is really solid. So silencing, really good. And the more you level up his active, the more you can increase the duration of the silence. So the more you level it up, the more the enemy won't be able to use their special skills. So this is honestly really good. Now we move on to his second active. Novick attacks enemies to deal 620% of his attack as damage, and all basic attacks dealt by the target will miss for 8 seconds. So when he attacks the enemy with his second skill, his second active, the target, they will literally miss all of their attacks. They will miss all their basic attacks. So they won't miss their special skills, but they will miss their basic attacks. So he basically has like a 100% evasion for basic attacks for like 8 seconds. So he basically has invincibility from basic attacks when he activates his second skill. So this is honestly really good because if you're suffering from the enemy doing a bunch of basic attacks on you, his second active can really counter that because he's basically immune for 8 seconds, and the more you increase it, the more the longer the duration is. So that's a really good active. Now we move on to the special move, Crimson Soul Fist Seal Zone. Novick expands a Crimson Soul Fist Seal Zone lasting 4 seconds to increase the physical resistance of all allies in the seal zone by 60%. So he creates a zone, and if your allies are in that zone, they're going to get a 60% physical resistance increase. Enemies within the zone are locked and have their swiftness increase blocked. When all allies deal a basic attack to enemies in the seal zone, the attack coefficient increases by 150%. Novick becomes immune to status effects while using this skill. So his special move is honestly really good because not only does it have a physical resistance buff and the swiftness increase debuff, but he also increases the attack coefficient of your allies. So he is really going to be solid with where's he at, with this guy right here, with Kun Ron, because Kun Ron, he's like a basic attack spammer, because once he activates that lightning pill, he's going to spam basic attacks, and he's really solid with Kun Ron. So using them two together, really solid. So, and he will also be pretty solid with Yiwa, because Yiwa, if you look at her exclusive equipment as well, if we go to her last level, as you guys can see, her attack coefficient increases by 50%. So if she gets more attack coefficient increase, which is, you know, Novick increasing that attack coefficient, she can do a lot more damage. So his special move is honestly really good. Now, the team that I'm using him in, that's the biggest part. So which team should you use Novick in? Well, I tested him against Quant in mock battle, and honestly, he annihilates Quant. Like, Novick literally destroys Quant. He annihilates this guy. So this is the team that I'm basically using against Quant, and basically, like, the best team in my opinion, besides, you know, in mock battle, I feel like he would work perfectly well in the blue team, because right now a blue team has potential to be good, because we literally have Mazino, we have Kun Ron, and we also have Novick. So this is basically the team that I'm planning on using, because Hwarun is going to increase that attack, the crit, and she's going to provide shields. Evan is going to provide that immortality, and the main reason why I'm using Mazino is because Mazino provides shield, and Novick, the biggest problem with Novick is his survivability. Like, he dies so easy, like he could get one tapped. So if you pair him up with Mazino, Mazino will put the shield on him. So that's honestly really good. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys quick little replay of this team, and Kun Ron works perfectly in this team as well. Like, blue team honestly has potential for sure. Like, blue team, I can see blue team getting better and better later on in the future. The fact that blue team has a tank unit, we have a DPS unit, and we also have a warrior unit that can provide shields, it's really nice. So this is basically how the team looks. So you got Kun Ron that's attacking, you got Mazino who's providing that physical resistance, and when Hwarun died, now as you can see, there's 3 people left, and Novick is dead. So this team, I did attempt this team multiple times. This team is heavily RNG. Like, as you guys can see, we're losing against this team for some reason. I'm gonna go ahead and restart. Let's do a quick result instead, because we literally beat that team a few seconds ago. Like, before I even record this video, I literally soloed that team instantly, so I don't even know why we're not beating them. As you guys can see, we literally beat them. So, you know, sometimes it's RNG, but these are basically the stats. Like, he has he could tank for 384 million. He could take a lot of damage, but my biggest concern with Novick is, of course, his survivability. If you don't have a lot of copies of him, he's gonna be easily, like, he's gonna get one-shotted most of the time, especially later on in adventure. He's gonna get absolutely annihilated. So I feel like Novick, he's a really solid character if he can survive, and I'm pretty sure you can say the same for almost every character in the game. If you can actually manage to make your characters survive, they can provide a lot of value in your team. So Novick is basically the same problem with most characters in the game. It's just survivability. If he can actually stay alive on the field, he can do really good damage. So I'm gonna go ahead and go to mock battle and show you guys, you know, how well he performs against Quant. So we're gonna go over here, and we're gonna go ahead and do our attempt. So this is basically the team that I'm using against Quant. And you guys are going to see how well he is and how good he is against Quant, because he has that attack coefficient increase, which is buffing up everybody's attack. So as you guys can see, this is how it looks like. And plus, the fact that he's able to silence Quant, and look at those chains around him. The fact that you have Novick who's continuously silencing him, and you have Endorsi who's reducing his energy, he could barely spam his special skill and, you know, get that evasion. So the more I level up this team, the more damage we can do. Like, look at that silence on him. You guys see that? You guys see that little it's like that little chat box on top of Quant's head? That's the silence. Like, once you reach like the 20-second mark, that's when we're just gonna start spamming on Quant, and he won't be able to cast his special skill at all. Like, look at him. He's just stuck on the floor. He can't even move. Look at the stun. Look at that. He can't even do his animation. You see, he's still stunned and he can't even move. This team is absolutely busted against Quant. He just gets stunned over and over again, and then the attack coefficient increase. Look at everybody getting that attack buff. So if you guys are wondering which team you want to use against Quant, Novick is definitely going to be the guy you want to use, because he is silencing Quant, preventing him from using his special skill. And you also have Dorsey, who is placing that energy block on Quant, where to the point where he can't spam his special skills. So Novick, I feel like Novick is really going to be good against bosses because of that attack coefficient increase, the physical resistance, and the fact that he can silence enemies. That's honestly really, really nice. So that's pretty much his performance in mock battle. It's actually not that bad. Now, when we move on to arena, I tested him in arena as well. I don't have any more attempts, unfortunately, but he wasn't that bad in arena. He was doing pretty good, but like I said, the only problem is, of course, survivability. The more copies you get on this character, I feel like the more he'll become stronger, and then the more damage he'll take. But for now, the team that I'm mostly using for him is blue team. I'm using him in the blue team right now. Now, right here, this is going to be pretty hard because Anak is just absolutely annoying and she's just one-shotting everybody. But I'm going to get marked in this, but I'm basically going to show you guys a quick little example. So we're going to take out Zahard. Let's put in Kunran instead. Let's put you over here. And Dorsey. Okay, let's put in Evan instead. Let's put in Evan instead, and let's see how this team can perform. So let's go ahead and do our quick little attempt. I know I'm going to lose this. I still have to level up my characters and make them stronger, but this is pretty much the team that I'm using. Sometimes I switch out Evan for like Bomb, but look at that, you know, Evan immediately died because of this guy right here is always one-shotting. But you guys can see that Novick automatically died. So the biggest problem with him is, like, you know, survivability. So all you're going to need is, you just need more copies of him, and later on in the future he'll become a lot better. But for now, if you don't have a lot of copies on Novick, then I would definitely recommend you guys to, you know, I will only recommend you guys to use Novick against Quant and mock battle. But in adventure mode, he won't really be that good because he just dies immediately. You just need a lot of copies of him. So basically, he's a character that's going to require a lot of investment in order for you to progress through adventure mode. So let's go ahead and try to okay, this right here, who should we put over here? Because this is the thing, she's gonna one-shot automatically. I know she's gonna do that. So we're gonna try to put, I know she's gonna one-shot. I know she's gonna do it. She's gonna one-shot my Mazino. He's gonna die, but the thing is, he's gonna stun. But she's definitely gonna one-shot my Mazino. Look at that, already one-shotted. I knew it was gonna happen. She is annoying. But yeah, so that's pretty much Novick. So like I said, if you guys want to use Novick, you have to keep in mind that in order for you to really use this character in like almost all the content in this game, which includes adventure mode, you got Trout. I'll say the biggest benefit when you obtain Novick is the fact that you can literally use him in Blue Element Trial. Because in Blue Element Trial, the only good blue units in the game so far are Data Machine, Uric Mazino, and Kunran. They're the only good ones so far. And the fact that we have another tank unit, so that's 4 blue units you can use in Blue Element Trial. So that is a huge benefit. So overall, my opinion on Novick is that he is a solid character. He's actually not that bad as a tank, but he requires a lot of investment. Like, in order for him to be tanky, in order for him to actually stay alive, you need to get a lot of copies of him, which sucks for, you know, free-to-play players. So Novick, not a bad character. Later on in the future, we're gonna get the carrier system. So hopefully, like, when we get the carrier system, hopefully there's going to be like an artifact or an equipment that has shield, more defense, more physical resistance or something. Because my biggest problem with Novick is his survivability. But I won't say much because we haven't, you know, we haven't received that 100 evasion, which is going to be super beneficial. And for his exclusive equipment, we haven't maxed it out yet, because let's go ahead and read his exclusive equipment. For his level 1, the max Crimson Soul gain increases by 1, so you get another stack. And the cooldown of, okay, I'm not going to say that, but the cooldown of Crimson Bell Shock resets when the Crimson Soul Fist Seal Zone activates. So he basically gets a cooldown reset for one of his actives. And then for level 3, the cooldown of spinning needle resets when the Crimson Soul Fist seal zone activates. So when he does his special skill, his first active cooldown will reset and he will proc it again. But level 4, this is where it's just automatically amazing. The attack of enemies locked by Crimson Soul Fist seal zone decreased by 50% while Novick is on the battlefield. So the fact that he's able to reduce the enemy's attack by 50% when he does his special skill, that is absolutely insane. So I feel like when you get him to level 4 in exclusive equipment, his survivability won't be that bad because he reduces the enemy's attack by 50% and they won't be able to do that much damage against him. So for now, I'll say for now, Novick, he is extremely squishy if you don't get the level 4. I'm not entirely sure because I haven't unlocked level 4 yet, but when I do get level 4, I will literally make a video on it and test to see whether or not his survivability becomes a lot better, because right now the biggest problem is, you know, his survivability. So hopefully for the level 4, the fact that you can place that attack decrease on the enemy, hopefully his survivability becomes a little bit better, because trust me, if he stays on the field throughout the entire battle, he's going to be absolutely insane, providing attack coefficient increase, physical resistance increase. He's going to be crazy, and then he's placing silence on the enemy. So I see this character, he has potential for sure to be good. It's just that he requires a lot of investment, which includes his exclusive equipment and also getting a lot of copies on him. I would say 3 blue stars is actually not that bad, but we're just gonna have to, you know, grind and level up his exclusive equipment. So that's pretty much it for, you know, my review on Novick. We talked about his team. Like I said, I feel like the best team for him, if you guys are wondering, you know, what's the best team comp for him, honestly, I'll say blue team comp is really good, and the blue team comp basically includes Mazino. You definitely want to pair him up with Mazino, because Mazino provides the shield, so that basically allows Novick to actually stay alive. So if you don't have Mazino, that's going to be a problem. But if you do have Mazino, you definitely want to pair Mazino up with Novick. And you also want to pair him up with Kunran, because Kunran can do a lot of damage. And pair him up with Huarun as well because of that attack increase and also the swiftness increase, so that he can spam his special skill, because you want Novick to spam his special skill as much as possible so that he can inflict that attack decrease on the enemy when you get that level 4 exclusive equipment. And you can switch out Evan sometimes with bombs so that, you know, everybody on your team can get some energy. And you can also switch in Data Zahar sometimes, or you can also switch in Data Mashing, so you can get 4 blue characters on your team, so you guys can get that attack and defense buff. So that's pretty much the team comp I'm using, and the team I'm using in mock battle is pretty much this team. So overall, really solid character. Hopefully we get more copies of him in the future, because that summon session was just absolutely pathetic. But you know, hopefully my luck turns around and then we could get more copies of him. But that's pretty much my opinion on Novick. Put your thoughts down below in the comment section of what you guys think about Novick. Do you guys think he's a good character? Do you guys think he's not a good character? I want to see y'all's opinions. But anyways, I believe in the video at that. Make sure you guys comment, like, and subscribe. I appreciate you all for watching this video. I'll be catching you guys on the next one. Peace.